Hey girl, hey, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Misha. Thank you guys for joining me yet again for another review. We are back with a brand new review for the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 2, Episode 11. If you are new here, then welcome. I give lighthearted reviews with a little bit of laughter and a little bit of shade and a whole lot of detail. If you are back for a second or third time, then welcome back. Child, let's get into it if we gonna get into it. Y'all, please don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you get anything out of the content. Now, y'all know y'all don't want to have to search for the Jen Shah drama of it all. So if you're going to come on over this way, then you might want to hit that subscribe button. Please don't hesitate to hit that notification bell so that you will be updated each and every time I upload a video. Now, child, let's get into it. When the episode first opens up, all the ladies are still sitting around the table, and we pick up where Lisa left off, alluding to the fact that Jen was creeping on the low. So they're all asking her, they're like, is she seeing another man? She's like, I have no idea what happened that night. Well, why did your burger and fry eating behind bring it up, Lisa? Like, give us the tea or shut it. Okay, that's what we want. So Whitney is like, well, you know what? If we don't share what we know, then we're in danger. So Lisa starts crying yet again. I feel like I've been deceived. Lisa. Lisa. Pull yourself together. Like, what is wrong with you? Did you opt in on one of those websites she's scamming everybody on, or what's going on? Girl, what is wrong with you? Like, I get you're feeling played. You know, you're feeling played by a friend. But Lisa, you're putting a lot of stank on it, okay? She's like, I don't think she's who she says she is. I don't think she's who that person is. She's like, and I don't think she was meeting up with someone other than her family. Heather said, look, in her confessional, I just thought that she had gotten out of the Uber. I didn't think it was anything having to do with another man. But if Lisa knows something, why not just tell us? Listen, whoever called Jen on that phone to tip her off was probably who she was meeting. Because Lisa obviously knows more than what she's saying. And right now is not the time to go, hush, Lisa. Now is the time to speak your speech. Moving forward. So Meredith comes over to comfort her, and Jenny is like, just tell us. If you know something about her, just tell us. We need to know. Now listen, I'm all for cracking the case and whatnot, but what does her creeping have to do with us figuring out if she's guilty of these crimes or not? Like, why would y'all need to know if she was having an affair and whatnot? And Jenny, you were just unbothered on the bus. Now you want to know? Like, I'm watching you, Jenny. Something about you this episode, it was giving me very much flip-flop. Okay, it was giving me very much Cynthia Bailey. Very much Mia Thornton. Over on Real Housewives of Potomac, it was giving me flip-flop. Because on one hand, you don't care. On the other hand, you have information that this all stemmed from 2012, and we need to know. Why do you need to know if you don't care? Then you backdoored and said Jen is a minority like you. She's been misunderstood. Let's stick beside her. And then in the next breath, you say something totally different. So, child, I'm confused on you, honey, but we'll get into that as we get into it. So now the whole time that they're breaking down, Mary over there chomping down on those saltines. Talking about, oh my gosh. Like, I just don't understand. I don't understand. Like, Mary, what are you even doing here? You know what? Mary is contractually obligated to hang out with these heifers. I mean, it's clear. Moving forward, Lisa said, I feel like she has a double life. Lisa said, we got into it, and then, I thought we hugged it out and everything was fine, but then she started sending me these text messages, cussing me out, and I was in the car with my kids. Okay, were your kids on your phone? Like, Lisa, I'm not understanding, honey. Your kids were in the car. You were receiving text messages. The text messages are on your own personal phone, right? Unless the kiddo was watching kids' YouTube, then you should have been fine. Sure. And y'all know that's how Jen do y'all all the time. Y'all the one that keep running back over there to be friend Jen. That's why Meredith calls her Jennifer. Baby, every time Meredith says Jennifer Shaw, baby, I just sit straight up. Do y'all hear me? So then they talk about these texts that they were all getting after Vegas last year because Jen felt traumatized. Honey, I felt traumatized just watching y'all. So then they start playing this dramatic music as Lisa is recanting the story, and she said it leads back to Jen because of the way that they spelled because, B-C-U-Z, and Jen is the only one that spells it like that. So Jenny said, Why did you link this back to Jen? Like, why do you think that it was her? Meredith drops this bomb. She goes, I hired a private investigator when that happened because my son was being threatened. And he said it was very likely that it was coming from Jen. Now listen to me. Erica Jane, you better be glad you wasn't on Salt Lake City, honey, because Meredith would have gotten to the bottom of it quick. Do y'all hear me? Honey, that makes what Sutton did seem like child's play. Honey, Sutton just contacted an attorney to see if she was going to be implicated in any way. Meredith hired an entire private investigator. Or what? Child, it's a crossover episode. Ooh, child, it's a fool. Moving forward. Whitney said, I've never had a friend hire a private investigator. What the Yeah, y'all better be careful. And Mary, while you sitting over there, honey, and you and Meredith getting real close, you better make sure that church is on the up and up because the streets are talking. And Meredith will get to the bottom of it, honey. She will not go down without a fight, honey. She will not go down with that ship. So Meredith said, so who here wants to be friends with Jennifer Shaw moving forward? Heather, go on, raise your hand. Raise your hand up, Heather, because we know you're going to be friends with her no matter what. So Jenny pipes up and she's like, look, just because she got arrested, what are we just going to leave her by the wayside? She said, look, this situation is making me uncomfortable. She's not here and they're bashing her without facts. So it makes me wonder if I should watch my back. And again, this has nothing to do with you, Jenny. These women have a history with Jennifer Shaw. So I'm sure if they're saying these things, there's something to it. Moving forward. So Heather said, well, I'm going to 100% help her. And I'm going to visit her in prison too. Baby, Heather is the renter to Jen's Erica Jane. Do y'all hear me? She said, for better or for worse or whatever that means as a friend. Girl, you are not married to Jen. Honey, I thought she was going to start reciting vows through sickness and in health till death do us part. Oh, Heather. Oh, my gosh. She was like, my Mormon upbringing would have me shun Jen and, feel like I'm superior to her, but I want to be there for her. Now, Heather, I know you are under some sort of Shaw spell, honey. And I guess we all need a rider like Heather. But Heather, just remember that you are the company that you keep. I just want you to remember that, honey. I'm speaking directly to you. So Lisa said, look, I know I've been a good friend and I've been there for her. But at what point does it go from being a good friend to being fucking stupid? Okay, that's exactly what I want to know, honey. It's definitely a fine line. That's for sure. Because my mama always said, honey, don't be no fool. But she done told me that about every situation from friendships to romantic relationships. When she sees something ain't going right, she looks directly at me and speaks directly to me, honey, and goes, don't be no fool. And I know right then that something is not right. Moving forward. So Meredith said, can we talk about the hundreds of lives that she ruined? Why should I feel sorry for her? Whitney is like, but I thought you guys were on an upswing. Whitney, keep up, child. Girl, please. Meredith said, we are not friends. We are at a level 0. So then she continued and she was like, look, she used me and this is a slap in my face. So Mary said, I never saw good in Jen. I always saw a scandal. Whitney said, well, she owes us an explanation. So Mary said, call her up, call her on the phone. So then Heather calls her. They're like, put her on speakerphone. And this was my thing. The fact that y'all think that she is going to answer this phone call is baffling to me. She is not about to answer y'all. Please hang that phone up, girl. Meredith said, look, let me explain something to each and every one of you. I don't want to be around Jennifer Shaw. I don't want her around me. I don't want her around my business. I don't want her around my family. And if Jennifer Shaw is coming, I am not. Period. Buenos noches. Shout out to Carisha. Now, the last part, y'all know I added a little zhuzh to it, honey. Y'all know she didn't say that, but y'all know I'm going to put some stank on it, right? So everyone is like, okay, we got it. Okay, here go Mary. Phew. Oh, my goodness. Whoever casted Mary, honey, they deserve a raise, child. Because the comedic timing is everything. Now, she got on my nerves a little later on in this episode. But for right here, honey, that killed me. Child, I hollered. In the next scene, it's the next day. Jenny is FaceTiming her husband. Child, got to make sure she's still the only wife, okay? Because you can't trust Dewey like that. So they talk about Jen, and Dewey feels like she's innocent until proven guilty. Well, sir, this is the Housewives, and this is Housewives land, and you're guilty, period. Okay? If they said you did it, you did it. Especially if you are allegedly stealing from the elderly, orphans, and or widows. Okay? We are not going to go with, well, I mean, let's go to trial first. We want to know how she's getting that Gucci, Louis, and Prada paying cash money. Okay? That's what we want to know. But I mean, it's nice of you to try to stick beside her, I guess. Moving forward, Mary comes downstairs looking like she ain't brushed her teeth with this sleep attire on. I swear, if she would have been wearing a helmet of salvation, aka a bonnet, I would have died. I was like, oh my gosh, what does Mary got going on? Child, Mary got these braids out, giving just woke up and ain't put my wig on yet realness. Yes, for the protective styling of it all, child. Mary says she gonna keep it real. I'm like, girl, if you don't go in there and put on your wig, girl, what is wrong with you? So the ladies are in there making breakfast, and Mary sees Whitney making an egg, right? And she's like, well, can you make one for me? And she's like, sure, I'll make you one. Girl, absolutely not. Honey, I would not make her a thing. So Whitney looks over at Heather and she goes, I don't want the pressure of cooking her eggs. Heather said, I don't want the pressure of cooking her nothing. Honey, I know that's right. So Whitney said, even though she treats me like crap, I gotta make this egg, but I gotta make this right, because if I don't, is she going to come for me? No, girl, she's going to send Jesus after you, as she stated in her tagline. Girl, keep up. So after Whitney made the egg, Mary gonna pop that bad boy in the microwave to kill the germs. She was like, yeah, I didn't see her wash her hands, so I'm just gonna put it in there and let it cook a little bit. Lady, why did you ask for it then? Like, what is wrong with you? Don't ask for the egg if you don't want to eat the egg. Child, this is a mess. In the next scene, Lisa and Meredith, they chat for a little bit, and Meredith is telling her that she's feeling bad about the talk that she had with Cameron. And, and then she had that talk with Whitney, and they were saying things about Mary. And she said, Lisa, do you know more? Now, every time it's time for Lisa to speak, the music changes. Doom, 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 doom. I'm like, what? Why y'all always got this dramatic music on for Lisa? Like, what is happening, child? So Lisa goes, Cameron told me to be a part of Mary's church and to be a member is serious. And the way that they look at her is also serious. And when Mary comes in, they're in awe. And she's kind of aloof. They had a very strong relationship. Child, Lisa just be saying a whole lot of nothing. Lisa, what are you talking about? So Meredith said, what are you trying to say, Lisa? That's exactly what I'm trying to figure out. What are you saying? She said nothing. She's like, I'm not saying anything. I just think, he trusted Mary. So then in the confessional, Meredith is like, Lisa knows more about what she's saying, but she's just not saying it. And it's very unsettling. So Meredith is like, you know what? With all that he told you, why didn't you say anything to me? She said, well, you're a great friend to Mary, so why would I try and taint that? Next season will definitely be Meredith versus Lisa. I can almost guarantee it. So then Meredith said, I think I just need to have a conversation with Mary. Here you go, Lisa. What do you want to say to Mary? Yeah, Lisa, you nervous, honey. Lisa is looking at her like, now, why on earth would you go talk to Mary? So Lisa said, I think she just needs to be aware of what they're saying and all these cryptic messages that I'm getting. So Lisa's like, you share things with me and I keep all of your confidences, and I would like to keep Cameron's as well. Well, okay, you didn't keep his as well because you just filmed it. And Mary is going to see this. And B, basically you saying to her, my name is Bennett and I ain't in it. But in fact, you are in it. So you might as well get ready. Moving forward. In the next scene, Whitney, Heather, and Jenny, they go dog sledding. So they're getting on the dog sled of it all, right? And so Whitney is over there with one of the men. His name was Austin. And so Whit goes, I like this, but I'm so allergic to dogs, but I love them, but I didn't bring Zyrtec. And he said, oh, okay, how old is Zyrtec? Oh my God. She said, no, the allergy medicine. Baby, this little conversation here is giving very much confusion. Honey, this is a mess. In the next scene, Lisa, Meredith, and Mary, they go shopping. And Lisa said, all of my trips are centered around where I'm going to eat and where I'm going to shop. Lisa, now this you're on point with. Shout out to Phaedra Parks, honey, because I am the same way. I have an itinerary that is specifically catered around my food and around my shopping. And then I, do the touristy stuff too and get into it as I get into it. But I'm going to eat good, honey, if I don't do nothing else. So Lisa tries on these earrings when they go into the store, right? And she's like, Mary, what do you think about this? Mary said, make sure they clean them. Did they put a little alcohol on them? Listen, Mary is my kind of lady, especially when it comes to the germs. Okay, we are on the same page and I was this way pre-panini. You're going to have to clean this stuff and make sure everything's okay. So the guy behind the counter was like, everything is clean. Oh, child, he got a little attitude, okay? She was like, oh, okay. Child, she just making sure that Lisa don't pick up nothing she didn't come with. I know that's right. So then they leave the store, right? So Lisa and Meredith get their Tanya Harding and Nancy Kerrigan on. Child, they got these little outfits. I'm like, oh, okay, well, the outfits are at least cute. And child, they go out there and do their little spin around. On the other side, the other three ladies are still on the bus. And they're talking about Lisa and how she talks about things like it's the Lisa show. Like everything has been centered around how this will make her feel, how things are going to look as far as she's concerned. And I am 100% in agreement with Heather, okay? That the reason why she does that is because she needs to feel in control of what's happening. And also, I feel like it's a little bit of guilt mixed in there. Like something is going on that Lisa is not saying, but is showing every single time she speaks about Jen. So they're like, she knows things, but she doesn't want to say what it is. And Jenny feels like they're being hard on her because of her past experiences, because she knows her to be a good friend. Well, I mean, in this moment, Jenny was being loyal to her and whatnot. So, I mean, I guess we can't say nothing about it. So she's like, Lisa likes to have concrete facts because she doesn't like to be wrong. And while they were talking, what I was wondering is, why are y'all even talking about this around Jenny? I don't care if she did ask you a question. It's a trap. Okay. How do you think things are going between you guys and Lisa? Great. Moving forward. Honey, that's all she would get out of me. Girl, I'm not about to sit here and tell you something derogatory about your friend. And she brought you into this group. Come on, Heather, use your noggin. Like, my God. So then for some odd reason, Whitney broke out with 16 bars. Okay, Whitney the rapper, moving forward. So they get back to Cuvée, aka this beautiful Airbnb, and they arrive to this full-on spread. They go outside to have a little bite to eat, right? So Heather tells them she grew up there and her sister lives there, so she's going to call her and see if she'll come visit, because basically she turned her back on her after she left the Mormon church, got married straight out of high school, decided she wanted nothing to do with that. And so now Heather is on the same page. So she feels like she wants to make amends and she has a lot of making up to do. And, she feels bad for judging her all those years. So she's trying to get things back on track. Child, but in the next scene, Jen reemerges. So Jen goes in to see her attorney. He runs down the charges, money laundering and wire fraud. So then she tells us what she's being accused of is absolutely the complete opposite of anything she would ever do. She's like, you know what? My fault is I'm too giving and I help too many people. Yes, you help yourself to their social security numbers and their bank information so that you can continue to give. Like, girl, please. She's like, this whole thing is just surreal. I'm thinking Sharif is sick. I'm going home. And this is where she lost me. So Jen tells this lie about the phone call on the bus. She said, I got a call, and she starts looking around, honey, and every time your eyes get shifty, it's a lie being told, okay? So she starts looking around and she concocts this lie. It's given very much, the car rolled 3 times and I found him in the bottom of the ocean, and we dug him out, and my son, we found out that Tom was unconscious, but I'm the one who found out that my son found out. Like, girl, goodbye, honey. It was given very much Erica Jane. So she lies, and she said she got a call from Sharif's number, and she picked up and said, hey, babe. But it wasn't him on the other line. It was someone telling her she needed to go home, get her son, and then go to the University of Utah's hospital because Sharif was there. She said, I immediately went to, oh my God, is Sharif okay? No, you did not, Jen. You went immediately to him having internal bleeding. Girl, you're full of crap. Child, please. Moving forward. She said, then I got pulled over and I'm like, I'm just still in shock. I mean, I worked so hard to get here. And I worked so hard for everything that I've got. Child, not a tear in sight. Jen, Even Erica Jane mustered up a few tears, girl. You're going to have to get some tips, child. Call up your fellow criminal housewife and ask her how she did it. If Sharif gets implicated, he's for sure divorcing Jen. Moving forward. Back at the house, the ladies are dressed in costumes. They're dressed like they're in Sweden. And it's very fitting for them, actually. I'm like, okay, y'all looking like something. So everyone comes downstairs. Lisa and Jenny are like, look what we can do. I'm like, what? You know what that reminded me of, y'all? You know when a little kid says, Mom, look what I can do. And then they do a little spin jump and they ain't really did nothing, child. And you look at them, oh, baby, that is awesome. Look at Mama's little man. That's exactly what they were giving me, honey. Very much look what I can do. I'm like, if y'all don't shut up. Meanwhile, Mary is upstairs talking to herself about how she hates group trips because she's always last. And again, Mary, this is why they left you out of Vegas last year. Okay, I don't know what is happening with you, but you should have just stayed home. Mary is not a girl's girl. That's what this is. She's not a trip person. She's very much introverted. She could just be herself, her mannequins and her wigs and all of her Chanel, honey, and never come out of her house. Okay, quarantine was probably the best thing that has ever happened to Mary. So then she finally comes down and complains about the cold. And they're like, Mary, you want to take a shot? Now, why would you ask the pastor if she wants a shot? Child, y'all ain't making no sense. Moving forward. So they sit down to a fondue hibachi style meal and then they go outside to make s'more. Meredith is showing them how to make a keto s'more or whatever it is she's showing them, child. And Mary is trying to chime in and she's getting mad that they aren't listening. So she's ready to go. She's like, Meredith, you can have my seat. I'm like, she can have your seat. Isn't she sitting directly next to you? Child, I was so lost. But anywho, so Whitney decides now is the time to confront Mary. I'm like, oh, child, let's get into it if we're going to get into it. So she's like, look, you said a lot of things to hurt me. And child, meanwhile, Mary is dozing off. Honey, did you drink? Because, girl, why don't you wake up? This lady is speaking to you. That is rude. So Whitney is like, do you even care? She's like, no, I'm listening. She said, but you're falling asleep. She said, that doesn't mean I'm not listening. So Mary said, you hurt me too when you didn't pick up the phone and you don't listen to me. Whitney said, yes, that's what I'm saying. Why do you keep saying I don't listen to you? I'm not your child. Mary said, thank God you're not. Oh my goodness. So Whitney said, why do you want me to listen to you and not anyone else? She's trying to son you, Whit. Honey, she's trying to son you. That's what she's doing. Girl. No, but Mary's voice does get lost amongst y'all, okay? Because y'all be talking, honey, and not listening to nothing that Mary got to say. She ain't in charge nowhere, okay, but that church. Her grandpa husband don't even listen to her. So, I mean, of course, y'all not going to listen to her. Moving forward. So Mary is like, well, you know what? She's been drinking all night. And of this, I am sure because I have been watching her. So she's not going to remember this in the morning, so I'm not going to waste my time talking to her tonight. So Whitney feels like Mary treats her less than. She said, I feel like I just got excommunicated from her church. All right, now, Whitney, honey, you better stop speaking on that church, child. I do not play with G-O-D, and I definitely ain't about to play around with Mary, okay? Moving forward. She said, you know, there's a lot out there about her, but I protect her. So Meredith gets up because Meredith wants to protect Mary at all costs because, you know, Mary had her son's back. When Jen was doing the foolery all over the Twitter, Mary was right there and she formed a bond with Meredith's son. So, baby, Meredith's like, look, y'all not going to talk about Mary in my presence because she had my back. So she said, you know, I went to her church and I realized that I've been lied to. So as your friend said, Lisa, just be careful. So Meredith is back outside and she's like, he said, be careful. Lisa said, well, let me just say why his name is being brought up. Heather is like, clearly, Lisa, he told you to get the word out. She said, no, that's not why he said it. So Heather is pissed at this point, okay? Because she has had enough of Lisa dropping little hints but not saying nothing. Heather said, what are we talking about? Okay, it sounds like a bunch of nothing. It absolutely does. She said, are we talking about a friend in a high position that could be taking advantage of people? Yes, you are, Heather. You're talking about two of them, Mary and Jen. Okay, just so we're clear. So Heather and Jenny are like, just say what it is. And so then Jenny goes, you know what? I see why they're frustrated with Lisa. She drops these little hints. She says these little things, but she's not saying everything. So Lisa is like, you know what? People have to trust me. Heather said, girl, we are a group of women who have been completely traumatized by our friend being basically arrested in front of us. Okay, child, with the exception of Meredith, honey, because she could care less. I just want to make sure that we're clear, honey. Meredith was in a bubble bath, so she's not traumatized, honey. She cannot be bothered. So Meredith said, look, I had a conversation with her, and she said, what church do people not say negative things about? And so Heather was like, okay, that's a good answer. And Meredith said, yeah, I mean, I feel like that's a valid answer. So Lisa said, okay, I trust Cameron, and he has had religious trauma, and he has since left her church. And Meredith is pissed, honey. She is pissed. She said, okay, everyone says religious trauma. That is the vaguest thing that I've ever heard. She's like, if you're going to say something, then give me concrete examples. Otherwise, what are we even talking about? So then Lisa goes, he mortgaged his house and gave her $300,000. And I say, what now? Oh, child, honey. Baby, now how is Mary going to explain this away? Charlie went from Jen to Mary. Baby, this whole franchise full of crooks, allegedly. And that was the end of the episode. But one more thing before I go. So, Lisa, you can spill it on Mary, but nothing on Jen? Or as Meredith would say, Jennifer Shaw? Interesting. Child, I think Jen got something on Lisa, just like Lisa got something on Jen. Child, y'all comment down below and tell me exactly what you thought about this episode. It might be cold in Salt Lake City, but it is heating up on the screen. Do y'all hear me, honey? We are getting into it as we get into it. Y'all stay with me. I'm about to drop the Real Housewives of Potomac review in just a few. It might come a little bit later, honey, because mama need to lay down and take herself a nap. Y'all, please don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And as always, stay safe, stay blessed, spread love, not germs. Peace.